People of the known universe, I have decided to make content of the tournaments I'm doing. The tournament that I am showing you today is from August 8th, and it's called the Lumberry Beatdown. This is its second weekly tour. It happens every week on Fridays at 7. Be there if you want to maybe catch me and fight me. So I've been doing a lot more tournaments recently, and that's because I'm going to Sacramento to compete in Pokemon. Crazy world we live in. I wasn't even anticipating going, at the beginning of the month. However, now I need to practice my ass off before we actually get there. And as you're gonna see, I'm gonna need it. I should introduce my team. First, we have Fluttermane. This is a very bulky Fluttermane. I've trained it especially in defense and some speed, just to outspeed some stuff. I didn't really measure that super hard. Next is Tornadus. This is my Tailwind setter. I tried to rock out with other Tailwind setters before, but Prankster's Tailwind is just too fucking good. It also has Sunny Day because I realized that, my team actually works well under Sun, so that's what we did. For Rigorath is very good. I actually retrained it recently. The stats are not correct anymore. It's max HP, max defense, and it has like a 94% chance of living max attack adamant Urshifu Dark's Wicked Blow. So that's a kind of strong move, but that's why we trained it in a specific way. It has Trick Room and Imprison in order to Trick Room on other people's Tailwinds and imprison Trick Room users. Next we have Chi-Yu, and this has the Focus Sash. The Focus Sash, the infamous one. This one I should probably throw Eevee somewhere else. It's technically not fully trained, but it has Heat Wave, Dark Pulse, Nasty Plot, and Protect. I love setting up on people with this Pokemon so much, and it doesn't really matter to me that Heat Wave misses sometimes. It's like, whatever. It's most of the time. It's gonna suck when it doesn't because it's 90% accuracy, but whatever. We are out here. We have Dark Pulse if we need it, and I would rather not run Overheat. Next, our Pokemon is Iron Bundle. This has Terra Flying because it uses Air Cutter, and honestly, guys, that's kind of the tech. That's kind of the tech. I really do enjoy Air Cutter, Choice Specs, Max Special Attack, Iron Bundle. It slaps, and also, without Booster Energy, this thing outspeeds Fluttermanes, which is like a coin flip. They're running Booster Energy or Specs, and if they're running Booster Energy, it's going to be like half of the time. It's going to be plus speed. So, otherwise, and I also switched out Hydro Pump for Water Pulse. I can hit my Bleak Winds, I cannot hit my Hydro Pumps. So that's why we're rocking out with Water Pulse. And also the Confusion is nice sometimes. But we're barely clicking that move, to be honest. We were barely clicking Hydro Pump. And the Heat pick for this tourney is Breloom. Breloom is swapped out for Amoonguss, but I think I'm going to go back to Amoonguss. I have my team sheet ready now for Amoonguss to be on it, but this has Terra Rock, Rock Tomb, and Technician, so that does a lot of damage, plus Mach Punch, plus Bullet Seed, plus Fast Spore User. That's very good. And then I noticed that I had to retrain this thing to have maximum EVs because I forgot about that. It was in my old save file, and I was in the middle of training it, and I forgot to finish. Our first opponent in the Lumberry Tour was Jay, and Jay had a Chi-Yu with Choice Specs, Tornadus with Covert Cloak, Urshifu with Choice Band, Rillaboom with Assault Vest, Heatran with Life Orb, Fluttermane with Focus Sash. I don't remember what I was really scared of. I mean, Choice Band Urshifu is scary, but it's not super fast, which is why they were probably going to lead out with the Tornadus. And they do, but they lead with the Chi-Yu, and I lead with my own Tornadus and Breloom, and it's not a great look. They terrestrialize into a fire type, and as I terrestrialize my Breloom into a rock type, and we both get up the tailwind, hit heat waves, and my poor Tornadus dies in one hit, as I should have expected from a Choice Specs terrestrialized fire. She used heat wave. I KO it back with a Rock Tomb from Breloom. Next, I send in my Fluttermane as they send in their Rillaboom. Their ability goes out first. I don't know if I processed that meant it was going faster, but it definitely is what that means. Why did I switch out Breloom even? I don't know. It resists Fake Out, so maybe I should have kept it in, but I don't know, honestly. I switch Breloom out for Robo Santa, and it takes a Bleak Windstorm plus Fake Out, and it's dying. Moonblast plus Freeze Dry knock it out, and then Marge knocks out the opponent's Tornadus with a Power Gem, and I send out my last Pokemon. Breloom has the Life Orb, so sure, it can Mach Punch this thing, but it doesn't knock it out, and the Urshifu is faster than my Fluttermane, and it knocks it out with a Wicked Blow. We come back in Game 2 with an adjusted lead. They also adjust to bring out the Fluttermane right away. As I bring out my Iron Bundle with our Tornaduses, and I Freeze Dry the Fluttermane, which is probably a mistake, to be honest. This Fluttermane immediately goes for the Dazzling Gleam, and it does a lot of damage, and then the Protect, but we Freeze Dry the Tornadus right away. We're not targeting that Fluttermane other than with Bleak Windstorm, which does not go through. Next turn they Dynamax. Next turn they Terrastalize into a Fairy type and use Dazzling Gleam and murder me straight up, because that does a lot of damage. As they send out their Urshifu, my last two Pokemon are Breloom and Fluttermane, and I Terrastalize into a Grass type, but they just Sucker Punch me and Dazzling Gleam me and get the KO for the 2-0, or the 0-2 on my part. Great. Not a great start. But you know what, that's okay. My wiggle room, personally, is just like, I can afford 2 losses and I can still possibly make top cut, maybe. Regardless, we're on to Game 2. They have Dragonite, Choice Band Dragonite with Inner Focus, so no flinching. Ursaluna, I mean, no flinching, but, like, I don't run Fake Out on this team. Oops, maybe I should. Flame Orb Ursaluna with Guts, Ghost-type, Terra-type. They have a standard set, pretty much. I don't know how common Swords Dance is, but that makes sense. Like, you only need Earthquake and Facade, but whatever. Cresselia, obviously, with the Trick Room. Fluttermane, this might be a slow Fluttermane, but they also have Icy Wind, so I'm like, Iron Hands, Assault Vest. Iron Hands with Assault Vest is kind of crazy. It can take a lot of damage, especially since my whole team is special focused, so gotta figure out a way around that. And then Focus Sash Urshifu. Focus Sash on Urshifu is kind of brutal because I can't guarantee the knockout, obviously. Regardless, we're gonna work with it, and we are fighting K. K's first round, we lead off with Iron Hands and Urshifu Dark, and I lead with Farigiraf and Iron Bundle, anticipating that they're just gonna Trick Room turn 1. I need to work on that, to be honest, where they're just like, oh yeah, obviously they're gonna Trick Room turn 1, but no, they can see that I have the Farigiraf, and what else does it do other than block Trick Room? But they can't Sucker Punch me or Fake Out me, so I go for the Terrastalized Air Cutter, and it does a lot of damage, bringing out the Focus Sash. However, this is why we retrained our Farigiraf to most of the time live these Wicked Blows, because oh my god, I am so tired of getting knocked out by this gosh darn Urshifu. I swear to the Lord. Okay. They use Heavy Slam on my Robo Santa, but it doesn't knock out, and it's still neutral anyway, so it still would have been neutral anyway, so maybe I didn't need to use Air Cutter, Terrastalize to use Air Cutter, but I did. Then they Terrastalize into a Water type as they Sucker Punch into my Iron Bundle, or Iron Bundle, and I Moonblast into the Iron Hands, which is not super effective anymore, as a Heavy Slam, and they knock me out. I'm on my last two Pokemon. I'm on my last Pokemon, excuse me, where I Mach Punch the the Urshifu to knock it out, and they Drain Punch me, and then send out the Cresselia. I Bolt Seed their Iron Hands, they Moonblast me, and I'm down for the count. Next game. Just next game me. Just shake it off. Gaslight and Girl Boss come out, the Iron Hands and Cresselia. Honestly, I love these names, they're so good. And some people's trainer cards fucking slap. I send out the Sleeper Pick and the Fluttermane. And I think I don't know what I want to do with this Breloom, honestly. I just switch it out turn 1. And as I read the Fake Out, I guess. But that doesn't really help me because they Trick Room. And I don't know why, I don't know what I did. I don't think this was a misclick, I think it was intentional where I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna Dazzling Gleam. I don't know why I Dazzling Gleam, to be honest. I should have Trick Roomed up again. But, whatever. We're fine. It's fine, it's fine. Oh, you know what I was afraid of? I was afraid of them re-Trick Rooming on my Trick Room, because then nothing would have happened and they would have kept their Trick Room. But they swapped out the Cresselia for Urshifu, making the aggressive play like normal, like I probably should have anticipated, but whatever. They withdraw Girl Boss and send out Gaslight, which is their Cresselia. It's almost dead, and I target a Moonblast into it after I Terrastalize into a Grass type with this Earthquake. Knocking it out, but they just knock out the rest of my Pokemon, I think. Yeah. So that was game 2. Oh my god. Yeah, so out of my 2 losses that I afforded myself, I already used both of them. I was not looking great. I didn't know what to do about it, except keep playing, obviously. I could have dropped. A lot of people drop after 2-0-2, and I don't blame them, but I just decided to keep playing because I obviously need the practice for Sacramento. Next opponent is Black Ash, and they have the Tornadus with safety goggles, or not Tornadus, they have the Landorus Therian with safety goggles, Zapdos with heavy duty boots. I don't know how common hazards are in this format. I don't think they are very, but with Glamora it might be, and obviously you don't want your Zapdos poisoned. Amoonguss, very good. It's Terra Fire though, which I don't know what that blocks, but that Terra Water doesn't. But Urshifu Rapid Strike with the Mystic Water, Surging Strikes is going to do a lot. Fluttermane with Dazzling Gleam Fairy, Terra type. Honestly, maybe I should switch my Terra type. Maybe I should get rid of Power Gem just for Dazzling Gleam and then Terra type Fairy, because that's a really strong tech, and I'm like, because the resistances to Spore and Ground are nice, but it's not doing me a whole lot. And then they have the Rillaboom with Leftovers and Fake Out. And Taunt, I guess, they never use that, I don't think, but, yeah. Fake Out is something I have to look out for, and there's no Trick Room. I lead with Chi-Yu and Iron Bundle. I want the aggressive plays right away. They lead with their Fake Out and Tailwind combo. I withdraw Iron Bundle, and they Terrastalize into a Fire type immediately, predicting my Freeze Dry, I think. As they set up the Tailwind, as I Dark Pulse into their Zapdos, not killing it. They swap out for Amoonguss, but I set up the Sun and use Heat Wave, and it KOs the Amoonguss in one hit, letting them get the Fluttermane in for free, and getting the Photosynthesis for free. It heightens their speed. The turn after, as I try to attack, they use their Dazzling Gleam and KO both my Pokemon, leaving me with just Iron Bundle and Fluttermane. I Terrestrialize into a Grass type, trying to live a Grass attack. The Fluttermane protects itself, and I Power Gem into the Zapdos that comes in for Rillaboom, as it comes back out to reset the grassy terrain. The opposing Rillaboom uses Fake Out on my non-Ghost type Fluttermane, and then the opposing Fluttermane uses Dazzling Gleam, which doesn't KO either of my Pokemon, but Freeze Dry does not KO, and they just sweep up the rest of my team, my Fluttermane, my poor Fluttermane. Next game, they lead with Zapdos and Landorus. Intimidate, I'm not scared of because I don't have any physical attackers. And I use Freeze Dry turn 1 to knock out the Landorus turn 1. However, they do get the Tailwind up, and honestly, I don't know why I targeted Landorus. I just wanted it gone because I'm scarred by Tornadus Landorus lead. But yeah, I really should have targeted that Zapdos first to not let them get the Tailwind up. They get the Rillaboom out. They fake out my Iron Bundle, but I still get the Bleak Windstorm off, doing a lot of damage to Rillaboom and not so much to Zapdos, but we do get the Speed Drop. And they Volt Switch into my Iron Bundle and murder it. My poor Iron Bundle. I switch into Marge, and they switch into their own Flutter Mane, and then Terrastalize, and I Terrastalize, and they use Dazzling Gleam, and Bleak Windstorm, not a lot happens. I use Shadow Ball on the opposing Flutter Mane and knocks it out. Rillaboom, I Bleak Twin them again, as they Volt Switch into my Tornadus. It gets knocked out. Their Tailwind goes out. I think both of our Tailwinds go out, but I just Dark Pulse it and Power Gem it, and it's knocked out, winning me the second game. Okay, first win of the tournament. Oh my god. That's rough. Yeah. So I need to win this game, or else I'm just probably gonna drop, to be honest, because there's no way I'm top cutting after that. Or I'm top cutting with my score like that. So we go on to game 3. They lead with Flutter Mane and Zapdos for the Tailwind, as I lead my own Tailwind and Flutter Mane. Almost a mirror, but Zapdos can beat, you know, Zapdos can beat Tornadus. They swap out immediately for Rillaboom as I Terrastalize into a Grass type, and Tailwind and Moonblast into the Flutter Mane, getting the special attack drop. As they Moonblast into me, not doing a whole lot, thank goodness. I Bleak Windstorm as the Flutter Mane faints. And they withdraw the Rillaboom again, sending out Zapdos in the Flutter Mane slot as they send in their Urshifu. That is not a switch in for Rillaboom. They're both weak to flying, and it does a shit ton of damage on Urshifu, not so much Zapdos. I go for a Power Gem into the Zapdos slot, and it doesn't kill it. However, this Heat Wave is not doing too much either, so that's okay. The battle was canceled right after. That was my first set win of the tournament. Our fourth round is Ella. They have Choice Scarf Urshifu, which is scary. Amoonguss with Rocky Helmet, that's always a good choice. Iron Hands with Assault Vest is always a good choice. Citrus Berry Pelipper, I guess they wanted Rain. Goldango, which I guess makes sense now looking at their team. And Chinpiao. It makes sense that they'd want to have Rain to block fire for Amoonguss and Goldango, and then power up Urshifu. And Chinpiao, for that matter, block fire for Chinpiao. So they're very fire weak, which I can capitalize on. Our first round, they lead with Chinpiao and Iron Hands, and I bring up the Chi-Yu and Iron Bundle. I lead with my super strong offensive lead. I switch out Iron Bundle for Marge in case they try to fake out my Iron Bundle, and I protect with Chi-Yu just to not get hit by Sucker Punch. They Terrastalize into a Poison type, and I Terrastalize into a Fire type, and I protect with Marge. They Sacred Sword my Chi-Yu, but I already have Focus Sash, even though it leaves me at 4. I use Heat Wave, but I miss an opponent. I miss the Chi-Yu, and it barely does anything to the Iron Hands. And then I see the Heavy Slam into Flutter Mane, and I don't know what to do at that point. I don't think any of my Pokemon can handle it, but they just Sucker Punch the Chi-Yu right in the face and KO it. I should have maybe protected that slot, but I didn't have a good way of positioning. I'm not very good at positioning. That's not untrue. My positioning isn't terrible, I don't think. It's just that with this hyper offense team, I'm like less incentivized to switch, so I don't. But that's why Amoonguss needs to go back on the team, so I can actually do shit. I can actually have a wall to pivot around. Anyway, Moonblast into Iron Hands, it knocks it out. I send out Kyle, my Tornadus, and they send out their Urshifu as they Icicle Crash right on my Tornadus, and it KOs. I send out my Iron Bundle with their Goldango on the field, and they protect their Goldango. As I get Sucker Punched right in the face. It almost KOs Robotana, but not quite, even with the Life Orb. Oh my goodness, that's strong. I Water Pulse the Qianpao, and it KOs as I try to Shadow Ball into the Goldango, but they protected. And next turn, I get the KO with Water Pulse plus Shadow Ball. Next turn, they lead Pelipper and Goldango as I lead Tornadus and Iron Bundle. They immediately Terastallize into a Grass type on Pelipper. They just protect their Goldango as I Freeze Dry their Grass type Pelipper, knocking it out. And I Tailwind. They get their Urshifu out. I use Sunny Day. Urshifu fainted. They use Dazzling Gleam on their Goldango. It doesn't do a lot. They send in their Qianpao. And I switch out to Goldie. They use Icicle Crash on my protecting Tornadus. Doesn't do anything. As they use Nasty Plot on their Goldango. I Terastallize into a Fire type on my Chi-Yu and use Bleakwind Storm on a double protect actually. They double protected their Pokemon to protect them from my 2 spread moves. And then I realized, I finally look at the tournament chat and I'm like, oh my god, my team sheet is wrong. I have Chilling Water listed on my Tornadus and not Sunny Day. And in this tournament, that's only a game loss, not a round loss. And so, I just quit the battle. I quit the battle so we can have a game 3, because my bad, I had the wrong move on my team sheet. Game 3, I lead with Chi-Yu and Iron Bundle as they lead with Qianpao and Amoonguss. And I turn 1, I Terastallize Iron Bundle into a Flying type and use Air Cutter, and oh my goodness, it's so satisfying. It one-hit KOs both Pokemon. That is huge. That's exactly what I needed. They send in their last 2 Pokemon, Iron Hands and Urshifu. They fake out my Iron Bundle and then Surging Strikes my Chi-Yu. Oops, that was a misplay. I should have done something about that, but I didn't. And then I send out Marge and Moonblast and Air Cutter again probably. But they turn into a Water type, losing their fighting weaknesses as they Surging Strikes into my Flutter Mane, KOing it, and I Air Cutter again, not doing an impressive amount of damage. And then my last Pokemon, my 4 last Pokemon is Kyle the Tornadus, and I didn't really need to bring him. Amoonguss would have been better for this position probably, to steer attacks away from the Urshifu and the Iron Hands. But I replaced Amoonguss for Breloom on this one tournament, so they just Rapid Strike, or they just Surging Strikes my Tornadus, and I get KO'd. RIP! And that's how I got. And that was my 3rd loss of the tournament. And then anticlimatically, I didn't have an opponent for round 5, and I got a free win. So 2-3 is my final score on this tournament. Lumberry Beatdown number 2. And I would say that it was fine. I did fine. I think I did fine at least. Like, everyone's so good that it's hard to measure myself personally. So, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with my results. I'll do better next time. I'm hoping to record more of these in the future. So, people of the known universe, please watch for me at Sacramento Regionals. I'm really excited to be going to that event. I'm really excited to be posting tournament content. Yeah, I love Pokemon so much. I love Pokemon battling. Subscribe!